So good morning, all of you.
Good morning, sir.
A very good morning. So we will start our session for today. Are you audible, clear? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So today we are trying to start with our initial session on article writing. So why we have to write an article, what is the purpose, and why we are thinking about this idea. So the program is a topic of mastering the art of research article writing, a comprehensive training for aspiring authors and faculty. So this program is intended for both the faculty and also the students and the interns. So what is the objective? So the key objective of this program is to equip all the faculty, the students and the interns to have their research skills, improve their research skills and the research technique and give an innovative place for thinking, because innovation and research are the key for any development of any system. So even to homeopathy, this research helps in improving the system and also helps in development of the system. So why, how and beyond? So why we are to do this program? How we are going to do this program? And after writing the article, what we have to do? So these are the key things what we are going to study in this program. And after the program, we will be having a question and answer session so that your doubts can be cleared, and we will also send you the questionnaire. Question and answer session will be there, and that questionnaire is given just to understand how better you have understood about this topic, and that is the assessment and also the feedback, because your feedback matters a lot. So to begin with, I am on behalf of the METU, the Medical Education and Technology Unit, and the Research and Publication Unit of ASRHMC. We are starting this program, the training program. So why we have to publish and making your mark? So everybody has a thought in the mind that why we have to write a publication article, and what is that so important that our publication matters in the academic field. Because an idea will change the life. So each and every one of us will have lot of ideas, lot of creativity, but that creativity is left within us if it is not exposed or not given to the public. So the platform which gives a chance for us to express our ideas, to express our thoughts into the public, into the academic world, is through the article publication. So as we see that any field is going to develop only because of research. Research means doing something better, doing something good. So like this, advancement of the field is possible through research. And apart from that, what it helps? It builds our career, academic growth, advancement and reputation. So the key point for increasing our reputation or academic growth or career advancement is through publications. Even if we go to any interview or any board or any place of assessment, they will always see the articles published, the quality of the article, the journal in which it is published. So these all matters a lot. And the impact on the society, they influence the practice of the system, the policy making and public health. So our articles, wherever they are published, these are taken into consideration by the policy makers, by the public health departments, and also the people around us. The scientific world sees our articles. So if we are publishing good articles on homeopathy, research articles on homeopathy, so the scientific world will read them, try to understand the concepts, try to understand the basic ideas of homeopathy and how we are treating and how we are approaching the cases. So all these things show a good impact on the society. So because of these articles, our reputation has to increase. And apart from that, the IQAC and institutional reputation, an institution generally maintains all the infrastructure, all the teaching faculty requirements, but the basic difference varies from one institute to the other only because of the publications and the faculty development programs conducted in the college and the faculty who are teaching there. Those research articles of the faculty contribute a lot to the ranking of the colleges, because NAC, an organization which gives grading to colleges, most of them are dependent on the articles published by the faculty. And also professional development, because our continuous learning process, because these articles are written and they enhance our knowledge, enhance our depth in the subject, and that is a proof of that. And it also develops an attitude for continuous learning. So for these are the key ideas why we have to publish an article. So when we are trying to publish an article, there are so many things we have to consider. One is the plagiarism. The concept of plagiarism means not to copy. What is fair? What is unfair? So the originality is the key. Whenever we are trying to write any article, we will quote certain things that this article is having this information, or this textbook is having this information, or these are the available information on the internet, on the journals. So the article should mention the citation. Citation means the reference. So who has given this reference? Where it is given? So if you are not mentioning the reference, the article is plagiarized. Means without referencing, it is claimed that the author is yourself, because it is not our idea that is quoted here. Whenever we are writing an article, we should be clear enough what is the idea of other person, what we are taking from the other person's ideas, and what is our contribution. So this should be very clear. And to avoid plagiarism, we have to write the citations, the sources from where we have collected the content. Because most of the content we try to take from, we refer so many sources and we try to build some content, and that content is not our original idea. So we cannot claim that it is our idea. So plagiarism is a key point. And in our college, when we are trying to do our magazines, our Anatomica Homeopathica and our college magazine, we are trying to do plagiarism free or less than 15% to 20%. So we are trying to encourage our students to do plagiarism free or plagiarism less plagiarism articles. And authorship. What is meant by authorship? Authorship means the person who is the author. Because any article, there may be one author, two authors, three authors, five, six, seven, depending on the need, depending on the contribution, and depending on how they are doing the activity and how many people are involved in doing the article. So here the authorship, we have a separate column at the end of the article which mentions which author is responsible for which role. Means we can specifically write X author is responsible for the creation of the idea. The Y author is responsible for editing. Z author is responsible for the statistical part. A author is responsible for the peer reviewing. So like that, or this author is responsible for conducting this work. Whatever works have been done for publishing the article, it should be very clearly mentioned that the each author should be given credit of what exactly is done by the author, so that it will be a clear and fair means of writing articles. If suppose five people are writing the article together, we have to mention the role of each author. It may be less or more, but the author contribution is a very important part of the article writing. Data integrity. So honesty in reporting results. See, whenever we are writing any article, it is our responsibility as an author to write and report the correct results. And giving false results and reporting wrong results is not a good ethical practice in article publication. Conflicts of interest. So, is there any interest in doing this? Are we promoting anything in doing this activity or doing this article? That should be very clearly mentioned, because we should not promote anything because of our article. So conflicts of interest should be also mentioned for at the end of the article. That is also one part which we have to understand when we are trying to write an article. Responsible conduct of research. So when we are doing the conduct of research, we should be very responsible, very ethical in performing all the activities, and we should stick on to the guidelines which are given in the guidelines which are given for the article publication. So understanding the structure. Whenever we are trying to write an article, there are international guidelines or basic guidelines where we have to understand the structure, what is to be formed, and what is the basic structure involved. So for any article, basically we follow the IMRAD format. So IMRAD format is a very basic structure where it has to be followed for every article, and even it may be any type of research article, but we have to maintain this format, which is very important. What is I? It is represents introduction. So introduction part, what question was asked? So why we are doing this research, and introduction part is the very key for the article structure. In the introduction part, we have to write what is existing, what we are doing, and how we are doing, and what we did. Some part of that introduction is very, very important, because Anybody who wants to write an article will first read the introductory part. So first introduction is very key part for the article. Key part of the article. Okay. Next, methodology. So regarding the methodology, we are now just trying to go in brief. We will go in detail later on. So what is the methodology used? What methods are followed? How we did this article structure or how we did the research? So for every research, there should be a methodology which has to be followed. For example, if you are doing some work, are we doing on the animals? Are we doing on human beings? Are we doing on the plants? So exactly who is the participant? So what is the time frame? How many number of participants are being participated given into this article or research? So like that, we have to define all these things. We have to define all these things so that it will be very clear and there is no ambiguity. There is no ambiguity. So the purpose of our article is to give every clear-cut information so that the reader is not confused and not kept in ambiguity. So the results. So the results part are what are our findings. What we found out during this research or article. So these results are key for any publication. So exactly what are the findings? We have to write in the article and discussion. So after these results, what is our discussion? What we are trying to say or convey to the scientific world. So discussion gives the last part where what do the findings mean? Means what is our conclusion? What we want to do? What we want to tell? What we want to convey? So the discussion part is very important. So we have to first go with the introduction part, the methodology part, the results part, and the discussion part. These are the key for any article which has to be published. This has to be maintained. This we call as the formula IMRAD. And beyond this IMRAD, we have to also include the title. Title. What is title? Title is a clear description of what we are trying to write. What is the article aimed at? So the title gives a clear picture. It gives a clear picture of what we are aiming at, what we are trying to tell, and what we are doing. So if the title is very clear, so that the people who want to read the article will get an idea what is exactly inside the article. So title is always a key for any article. So next, abstract. What is meant by abstract? Abstract is the condensed form, a very short condensed form of the article, because when we are doing some research, we refer thousands of articles, filter them, and then we don't read the whole article. First, we read the abstract, because abstract gives a fair idea about why this article is written and what it contains. And if we are really in need of the content, then we can go through the entire article. So abstract is the gist of the article and the findings and the conclusion, so that this is giving a idea in a shortcut format, so that it enables the researchers to go through the article in a quick time and less time. References. As we have already told, that references are very, very important. So when we are trying to write an article or we are doing some research, how we did this research and what were the references? So from where we took this information? Where we took the information? We are trying to write an article on any subject. So we will try to review the articles and collect some content, and that content where it is collected, we have to write in the references column, which is at the end of the article. And keywords. So keywords is also another important aspect where these keywords are searched in the search engines like PubMed, Cochrane. So these keywords are going to give key aspects of our article so that the keyword can give easy access or easy search by the search engine. So keywords are also very important. Whenever we are writing a homeopathic article, we can write homeopathy or the content what we are trying. Like that, we can give keywords or what is the exact article we are writing. Regarding that article, what are the keywords which can help in research for the search engine? That has to be also written. It may be from 8 to 10 or 15 keywords. So conclusion. So conclusion is also a part of the article where we conclude what is the conclusion after all this work. So what is the conclusion of all this work? We have to write in the conclusion part so that it gives the final final outcome of the article. So types of articles. So there are so many varieties of articles where there is original research, review articles, case reports, and many more. So original articles, these are the primary type reporting new and previously unpublished findings from an original study. They typically follow full IMRAD structure. For example, the study on efficacy of homeopathic remedy for allergic rhinitis. So this is the original article where they do the original research and publish the findings on the original study. So review article. What is the review article? These are example narrative, systemic reviews, and meta-analysis. So these do not present new empirical data, means they are not going to give any new information, but they critically synthesize existing published research on a specific topic. So suppose we are trying to write a systemic review or a meta-analysis. So this analysis will give a review on all the articles related to the specific topic. So review articles means it is not the original work done by the author. It is a collection of information from the existing articles, from the existing data. They try to extract the data, try to do some research, and then they try to publish an article. So the review articles are also a variety of writing articles. So they provide an overview of the current state of knowledge, identify gaps, and sometimes propose new theories. Suppose because we have some new theories also, we can give new theories. So those all will come under review articles. Then case reports. What are case reports? These describe a single patient case or a small series of cases, often highlighting a unique presentation of a disease, an unusual adverse drug reaction, or a novel treatment approach. So these case reports gives regarding the cases that have been treated, any uh, um, different varieties of cases which have been treated, and very good results what we have got on different cases or single cases. So this is also one type of article. And short communication. Short communication is also a form of article where we communicate to the scientific world regarding any upcoming research. Suppose we are trying to do some research on certain specific topic. We can release a short communication to the scientific world that we are doing so and so activity, we are doing so and so research, and in future we are going to publish our article regarding this. So a short communication is also a type of article where we can share our idea to the scientific world even before it is published. So there is an original research, there is a review article, there is a case report, and the short communication. These are different types of articles which we can write. So the laying the foundation from idea to outline. So when we are trying to write any article, identify your research question. We should be very clear, focused, and answerable. So when we are trying to write about anything or any article, first we should have a research question. So for example, we are doing a activity from August 1st to August 7th, the breastfeeding week, which is being conducted in our college. We are giving awareness camps. We are doing a lot of awareness camps, and also so much of activity is being done in our college by our students, faculty, and interns. So we have also put a competition. We have also put a competition for article writing on breastfeeding. So people may think, so why the students, why the faculty, and why the interns and the medical officers have been given the same topic? So everybody may be thinking the topic is on breastfeeding. Then already there is information. There is information in the Park and Park SPM. There is information in the gynecology and obstetrics textbooks. So what we are exactly going to do regarding this breastfeeding awareness and what article we can write? So here comes the idea. So we have to identify why we are doing this awareness. So awareness is because there is lack of information communicated to the needed people, and there is a gap. There is a gap. How to fill this gap? Means breastfeeding is not possible because the breast milk is not produced. Why? There are several reasons. So what homeopathy can do in this area? How homeopathy can help? How we can improve the quantity of milk? So like this is the area we have to identify. So we have to do some research like that. We are visiting so many places, like we are doing our camps in rural areas. So we can do a small research where how many people are aware of this, how many people are not aware, how many people are belonging to urban, how many people are belonging to rural, how many are low income group, how many are middle income group, how many are upper income group. So when we are trying to do research, it doesn't mean that it is only doing something specifically related to clinicals or clinical research only. So when we are doing an activity, collecting the data also gives a scope for research. So in the population of 100 women, 50% of the women are not aware. This is our research. This can be formulated into an article. So first, whenever we are trying, this is just an example for understanding about the research question. What we exactly want to do, what exactly is the problem, how to answer the problem. So why we are doing all these things is to be very clear, focused, and answerable. So the research gap is very important. Research gap means what is the lacuna? The existing structure is already there. The existing structure is there to create awareness on breastfeeding. But here, what is the lacuna? What can be done by us? What is our role? And what is the purpose of doing this research? Like that, everything should be clear before doing a research. And the literature review. So literature review gives all the details. What are the available literature in different textbooks, different journals, and what are the methods implemented in doing all these things. So literature review is a very, very important aspect where existing literature is studied. Literature is studied through books, existing literature is studied through journals, and literature review is done through the existing content in the internet. So we have to identify the gaps, build the context, and then we have to develop a thesis or a hypothesis or a central argument. So what is the hypothesis or thesis? Suppose we are trying to do a research work or uh, activity. So by doing this activity, are we getting the result? Or by doing this activity, we are not getting a result. So we have to put two questions. One, because of doing this activity, we are getting a good result. Second one, by doing this activity, we are not getting the result. Either it can be that or this. So we can put a hypothesis and a null hypothesis where our answer is negative. So these hypotheses depend on the statistical values. So when we are trying to write any article, we should be clear why we are writing, for what is the purpose of our writing the article. By writing the article, what is the gap that is identified and how we are filling the gap. For that, we do the review literature of the literature review. And by doing the hypothesis, we have to think, okay, my activity, is it going to give a positive result? If so, what is the result? My activity, after doing it, there is no result and it is a negative result. So for suppose we are doing some experiment on plants. We say that this medicine helps in improving the immunity or withstanding capacity of the plant. There is another thing that after giving this medicine, there is no improvement, there is no increase in the immunity to withstand this plant. So hypothesis and null hypothesis. So we have to be very clear of the result. So what is what expected and what can be also not to be expected. Like if if it is a positive, yes, we have done this. If it is not positive, okay, no problem. Because always our students may think that when we are doing a dissertation or a thesis, always the result should be positive. No, it is not. The result, positive or negative, is not important. The importance is, what is your conclusion? If suppose we are doing some research, we say that the medicine name X is useful for diabetes. In our research, we may also say this medicine X is not useful for diabetes. Then what is the use of this article? This use means then the further researchers may think why it is not useful. Maybe they will exclude that in their research, because unnecessarily doing any research which has no value or no importance or no uh, uh, conclusion or result gives no utility. So even the negative result is also a key submission to the academic field. Suppose we say there is a medicine X which is useful for diabetes. Our hypothesis is correct. Then there may be some people who may do more research. Maybe they may do in a larger population. They may do that research in a deeper way, so that it is helping the community. If it is a negative result, suppose by doing this work, I have found that this medicine is not at all useful in treatment of diabetes. So people may think why this has gone wrong, what mistake was done, whether the prescription is wrong, selection is wrong, or it is a waste of time in conducting research in this area. So they may leave this area and go to another area which is of positive way. So it is not important that whether the result of the hypothesis or result of the dissertation or the research is positive or negative. So don't be in a myth that always our research activity should give positive results. So, okay. Then whatever ideas, whatever ideas we are getting, please put it on paper. So whenever we are getting ideas, we are getting the thoughts, please put them on paper so that we will never forget. So that is the purpose of the logbook introduced by the CBDC curriculum, because the logbook gives a creative ideas. So whenever a student gets an idea, this can be implemented, this can be done like this can be used like this. So these all ideas are very important. So the logbook is the purpose for the student, so that they can write in the logbook, yes, we can study this article, we can study this content, we can study this in this way also, we can think in this way also, or they can have new ideas. So whatever you are getting ideas, whatever is your thoughts, please put them on paper. If you are not putting on paper, they will get lost and you cannot write any article in future also, because it is not that an idea comes today itself, because it develops like a seed. A seed is put in the soil, it will slowly sprout, it will increase, it will give fruits after some days or years. Like that, whatever ideas you are having, whatever ideas, your thoughts or innovations, creativities, whatever they are coming into your mind, they have to put on paper. So that is the key point which we have to remember for writing an article. So the first impression, the title. So as we have already discussed, the title is a concise, informative, impactful keywords. So the title, whatever we are putting for the article, it should be very clear. It should not have any ambiguity. Maybe the title is little bigger, but it should convey very clear-cut information, what exactly it represents inside the article, the content of the article, what is exactly the content inside the article. So it should be concise, it should be informative, it should be impactful means. So impact means what? The reader should have some interest. So the reader should get some interest in reading your article. So that should create an impact on the reader, so that your title should be so effective. The title should be so clear. The title should be very neat and informative, so that it attracts the readers to read your article. Because the article writing is one aspect, and the outreach, how many people have read your article, how many people have used your article. Because if your article is being used so many times by so many other authors, it creates an impact, it creates a very good reputation to your profile. So it is very important that most of the articles has to be read by more people, and it should create an impact. For that, the title is the key. So concise, informative, impactful, and keywords should be there in the title itself. And abstract, the standalone summary. Standalone summary means the whole summary of the key article is very important for the abstract. So abstract contains all the key information, all the key things that are inside the article, because so many articles are paid articles, and if that all they don't need it, they need not pay. Because and it's a lot of time consuming, because the researchers read thousands of articles to write an article. So every researcher will first read the abstract, first go through the title, then if he is okay with the title, then he will go with the abstract only. So the abstract should be very clear without missing any key points, and that abstract will give a fair idea about what is there inside the article, and whether this article can be read further, taking into the whole article or not. So the decision making of the reader depends on the abstract. So our abstract should be very clear and very concise, and it should cover all the key points of the whole article. And keywords. So the keywords, as already mentioned, they are very important for discoverability for the search engines. So we have so many search engines. like the PubMed, Medline, Cochrane Library, and homeopathic databases, and Google Scholar, university library databases. So all these are very, very important. So when we are searching these search engines, the keywords guide us, they guide us to get our important articles, to get our needed articles. So definitely our keywords play a distinct and very clear role in finding our article. So the first impression is the best impression. The title, the abstract, and the keywords are giving the best impression of our article. So we should be very careful in formulating the title, content, abstract, and the keywords. So background. So when we are going to study about the background, when we are going about the background, what is meant by background? So whenever we are trying to do any work, so what is exactly in the background? Means in the past. Suppose we are trying to do something on diabetes. Suppose we are trying to do on diabetes or even the breastfeeding awareness. So what is exactly told in the literature? What is there? What is exactly available to us in the past? And what is unknown? Research gap. So first we have to know what is known, then what is unknown. Why your study is needed. So first we have to identify what is existing, what is there, what is already available to the public or the scientific world. Then in that, what is not available, what is missing, what is missing. Suppose in the homeopathic literature, diabetes. Why I am telling diabetes? Because it is an easily understandable subject and it gives a clear-cut idea. Suppose we are doing some research on diabetes. So we should understand what is diabetes, how symptoms are there, what investigations, they are all available in the literature. And what is the research gap here? So with homeopathy, we are trying to treat diabetes. Okay, so there are a lot of literature, there are so many therapeutics, there is a lot of rubrics, there are so many things in the repertory available for diabetes. Then what else we can do? What is the research gap? What is the research gap? So for diabetes, for suppose we take lycopodium. Lycopodium in diabetes, what is its effect? Which organ it is affecting? In diabetes, there are so many complications. It is affecting so many areas. It is affecting the nervous system. It is affecting the kidneys. It is affecting the eyes. It is affecting the heart. It is affecting the microvascular structures. So in lycopodium, what are the structures affected? And what patients diabetes lycopodium gives results? Or what other things we can do for giving diabetes? Like that, so many areas we can think. So many areas we can think regarding the giving prescription, regarding the potency, effective of 50 millismol potency, effect of 200 potency, effect of mother tinctures. So like that, there is a lot of research work what we can do. And there is a lot of research gap also. So research gap means what is not there, we have to fill the gap. So that filling the gap, the research gap, we understand only we have the background idea. Without the background idea, without thinking, without our ideas of why it is like this, if you don't question, a research gap will not arise. So research gap is the key in understanding and writing any article or doing any research. So research gap, to identify a research gap, you need experience. You need some experience in that field. When we do some experiment, when we do some experience, suppose we have treated 1,000 cases of diabetes, then we understand. So what is the problem here? Why diabetes is having this problem? How we can improve this? how can we improve the outcomes of this? So we just think like that. So the research gap will be understood whenever we are having some experience, whenever we are having idea, whenever we are having the knowledge about it, then only we can think of the research gap. Otherwise, the research gap cannot be identified by any researcher. So a researcher to do some research, to do some research gap, to identify the research gap, he should gain some experience. So that is very important and a key part of writing the article. So aims and objectives. When we start writing any article, what are the aims and objectives? What is our aim? What we want to achieve after doing this and what we want to do and why we want to do it. So why we want to do it? Supposing again for diabetes, why we want to do? Because there are so many complications. In spite of using so many medications, the people are landing into complications of diabetic gangrene, retinopathies, nephropathies, neuropathies, and microvascular problems. So why it is important? Because of the increase in the number, because the complications, increase in the death rate, mortality rate because of diabetes. So the significance is why we are doing it. We want to reduce it. We want to reduce the number of cases affected with diabetes. So the significance always comes from why we have to do and why it is important for doing this activity. After doing this article or research, why and how it gives improvement or how it gives a result in the society. So the significance always says why we are doing this. So we have to clearly state why we are doing this. This is very, very important. Whatever we are trying to tell, it is trying to tell or convey our ideas to the scientific world. So detailed description, the methodology. So the key point for methodology is reproducibility and transparency. So what is meant by reproducibility and transparency? If at all we are doing some research and we are put some guidelines, and if somebody else wants to repeat it, with the same methodology, he should almost get the same results. So if we say that I have treated 100 cases of diabetes with constitutional treatment, and so these are the guidelines I have followed, and these are the result. If suppose somebody says, I also want to do the research in the similar way, he should be able to reproduce it. You should not have any ambiguity how this person had did it. Suppose we want to build a house. Suppose we want to build a house. So somebody says, I want to build a house like this same house. So what we will do? We will tell, yeah, I have followed this methodology. I have followed these techniques. I have followed this plan. These are the procedures what I have followed. I have contacted so and so people. In this way, I have done this work. So you follow this. You can also build your own house like this in the similar way. So before doing any activity, we will have a plan. We will have an idea. Building this house, there is a plan where you have to keep the bedroom, where you have to keep the washroom, where you have to keep the dining hall, where you have to keep the guest room. So everything is well planned before constructing. So a planning is important. The execution methodology is very important. How we did is important. So these are all the key things in methodology. So methodology in general speaks about how you are conducting the study or any work. Study means any work or research or whatever article you're writing. So you are writing an article. Suppose we are writing any article. So they will ask how you have written this article. First, I have gone through the literature. I have searched the homeopathic databases. I have searched the home path. I have searched the radar. I have searched the synergy. So like that, after searching the synergy, I have got 200 references. Out of these references, I have selected like this. Out of this, these are the references I have taken. After this, this is my combination of this, I got this content. From this is my conclusion. So this methodology should be very clear. So for any article or any work in general, you should have some methodology that can be replicated, that should be transparent. You cannot tell that I have done this in secret. I have done this secretively. I cannot expose this methodology. No, because the scientific world always needs some evidence, some clarity, and some uh, uh, working methodologies and some proof. So how you did it? And if at all somebody wants to replicate, they should be also be able to replicate, so that this methodology is playing a very, very important role. So participants, is it a participant? Is it a plant? Is it animal? Is it humans? In humans also, is it aged people? Is it a pediatric age? Is it a pregnant woman? Is it woman of between 20 to 30? Okay, if we are taking pregnant woman, so in pregnant woman also, is there any inclusion criteria? Whom we will include, whom we will exclude? Suppose we may say some people with very complicated problems, we will not include in the research. We will not include in our study. So if we are doing any study, what is the inclusion criteria? What is the exclusion criteria? What people we are including? What objects we are including? So participants or materials. So we have to write who and what is involved. So exactly what we are doing, how we are doing, what is the time frame, where we are getting this data, how we are doing the sampling. Because the sample size is a very key point for doing any research. So sample size is calculated by certain formulas, because if you want to do any research or anything, we should have a sample size. That sample size is decided by certain formulas, and we have to use the formula and use the sample size. So when we are trying to do some research, how we conduct it, on whom we are conducting it, and what is the inclusion criteria, what is the exclusion criteria. Exclusion means what we are excluding. We are removing, we are not including in our study. So same research, topic may be same, but the key differences may be in the methodology. Some people, see, if at all we take diabetes, treatment of diabetes, 50 millismol treatment of diabetes. Suppose we take is a topic. One person takes inclusion criteria 20 to 30 years. Another person may take 30 to 40 years. Another person may take 40 to 50 years. So when the inclusion criteria is different, though the research work is also different. So we may be thinking what this topic is same. Topic is same, because so many people who are doing their thesis, who are doing the dissertations, have a lot of problem in taking the research topic. Why diabetes? Diabetes is already done in our university. Diabetes is already done in our college. No, there are so many variations, so many combinations. There may be combinations in the potency. There may be combinations in the inclusion criteria. There may be combinations in the procedure. There may be combinations in the prospective study, retrospective study, observational study. So many different varieties are there. Just don't get blocked by the name. The name is not important. The title may be the same, it may be nearer, but the inner aspects of the methodology, if it is different, then it is a totally a new aspect. It is a new area of research. So the methodology part is very, very key in understanding writing of article. So it doesn't mean what you are doing, but if you just change the methodology, change the inclusion criteria, change the exclusion criteria, change the potency, change the drug, you can easily do lot of research, because the students are always in confusion what topic to take, what topic to take in the dissertation. So please learn the basic subject so that it helps in framing your research article, framing your title for the article, framing your methodology. So methodology is very, very, very key important in the time frame. Some people may do for 1 year, some people may do for 6 months, some people may do for 1 month. So it all depends on how you want to do. There is no specific guideline that you have to do like this only. Maybe the university may give some guidelines, but as an individual, if you are doing some research, you can follow your own methodology. So the methodology is different, then the total article, the project, the research activity is totally different and it is not the same. And data collection methods. So how you are collecting the data? Is it through old cases? Is it through new cases? Is it through live cases? So how you are analyzing? What methods you are taking to analyze? Suppose diabetes is there. So before coming to us, what criteria we are taking? What is the symptoms? And do we have any parameters for assessing the symptoms? Suppose burning, is there any scale? Pain, is there any scale used? So after completion of treatment, what is the pain scale? Like that. Suppose there is sneezing. For is there anything parameter to control? We have to note down the sneezings or any parameters to identify, quantify the symptoms. So these are all the research. So we are started our 10 specialty clinics in our college where we are trying to implement all these things. We are trying to do all these in a stepwise format so that we do the data collection, we do the analysis, and this is used for research, for further research after doing the treatments. So the data collection and data analysis part is a very key, which also should be mentioned before the start of the study. Without clear-cut map, without clear-cut idea, without ground plan, we cannot proceed further because we will be stuck at some point of time because we cannot go into further. Suppose we are trying to build a building where you have to put the electrical, where you have to put the plumbing, where you have to put the flooring, which flooring you have to put. Like that, you should be very clear of each and every step. Where you have to put the plants, where you have to put big plants, where you put small plants. So the idea should be very clear how to build it. The same way, in the methodology part, we have to have clear-cut idea before starting the activity or the research or article. We should be very clear of all these things. That is the detailed description of the study, the participants, the procedures, the data collection and analysis, and the ethical approvals. So ethical approval is a very important aspect. So an approval committee will be there, ethical committee will be there for any institution which approves these projects, because the ethical committee will have different people from different streams, from medical field and even from the NGO part, even from the common man, so that this ethical committee will give clearance. And because we cannot go beyond ethics, we cannot cause harm to anybody. Whether this research study is doing any harm, is it going to cause any problem to the patient or animal or whatever it is, we have to take ethical approval clearance. Without the ethical approval clearance, we cannot do any research activity. So ethical approval clearance is the key for any research work. So it is given by the authority or the head of the institution or the university where this activity is being conducted. So without ethical approval, even it is not included, so it is in plant also, we have to approach that I am doing this activity, whether it is approved or not, we have to approach the ethical committee, and the ethical committee, if given clearance, we can proceed with our study. So presenting our findings. So when we are trying to present our findings, we have to state the findings without interpretation. Interpretation means our own thoughts, our own ideas, our own in our own thinking process. We should not put that in the result. Result means whatever we are getting the result, exactly we have to put it like that only. Means We should not alter anything thinking like, yeah, this is our assumption. I thought like this. I thought like this. We cannot put like that. So very clear, and we should be stating our findings that we have given this medicine. This is the result. This is what is obtained, and this is the patient condition. That result what we obtain should be clearly mentioned, and it should not have any of our ideas, any of our thoughts included in the results chapter. So these results to effectively convey the results, because whatever we are trying to show in the article is to give clear cut idea to the reader, to the scientific world. So if you are presenting your figures in the form of tables, pie diagrams or charts, it will give clear cut idea rather than reading the whole topic. They just see the figures or pie diagrams or charts or any of these tables and figures, that will give clear cut idea and it will be appealing. So this is very important, that whatever results or findings we are getting, it should be given in the form of tables and figures, so that it will be easy to understand, easy to read, and effective means of communication. And statistical analysis. So statistical analysis is a very big chapter. It's a very big chapter. So how to analyze the results? So we have already talked before. So when we are trying to analyze the results, we can analyze the results in different areas, different angles, like comparison with the low income group, high income group, compare with the village population, urban population, compare with the adult, compare with the pediatric group. Like that, when we are doing any study, so our data collection is very important. So whenever we are collecting data, whenever we are collecting data regarding any activity or research, we should collect all the relevant data. So it is the income group, the area which they are coming, the education. So we can take. So in educated population, this is the result. In uneducated population, this is the result. Like that, we can compare. We can compare different parameters, compare between ages, compare between the male and female. Like that, the statistical analysis will give all these results. So to do the statistical analysis, we need all these data before, during, and after, and depending on the parameters, what parameters we are taking into consideration. So the flow, present the flow logically, guiding the reader. So what is the first, second, third, and after the final result. So like that, when we are giving any result, it should be in a logical manner. First result, second month, third month, fourth month, fifth month, sixth month. Like that, in a logical pattern, we have to give the result. And because of that, the reader will able to understand the results in a clear and perfect manner. So interpreting your findings. So here, this is the place where we have to interpret. Interpretation means thinking. So we have seen the results. So we have seen the outcome. So depending on the outcome, we have to give our own thoughts. This is the key part. So our part comes here. So interpreting our findings is very, very, very important. So out of the outcome, out of these results, I think that this is the result. This is the way. This is the outcome. This is the analysis. This is my idea. So interpretation of results is the key and important aspect in the discussion part. So in the discussion part, what we have to write? It is the interpretation of results. Interpretation of results means after seeing the results, what we have understood, what we have concluded, what we are able to understand, what we are able to convey to the scientific world. Okay, and relate to the literature. So the previous literature says this is the fact, and our outcomes, whether they are in concurrence with the literature or they are opposing the literature. It can be anything. Suppose the literature says these are the facts. But are the facts confirmed with the literature? Or are there any argument? Are they opposite to what the literature says? So we have to relate it to the existing literature. So this is also a very key point when we are trying to interpret the results. When we are trying to interpret the results, one, we have to think what is the result and how what we are thinking about the result. And also we have to relate with the literature, what is there in the existing past, compare it with the previous studies, and also the limitations of the study. So limitations of the study is very, very important part of the article. Because when we are saying limitation, we may say that I have this weakness. Mean the research means weakness means the limitation. Limitation means what? For example, we may take a small sample size. What we can say, we have done some research stating that this homeopathic medicine is useful for cancer. But the limitation is we have done this research only on 20 people. So this needs a research on larger population. So that we have to accept, that we have to admit, that we have to write in the limitations column. So the limitations means what lacunas we felt. Suppose we say that we have done for diabetes, we have used only few parameters or few investigations. But because of the costing, because of the high non-availability of these investigations, we could not do these investigations. For suppose in fatty liver or cirrhosis of liver, we are doing research. Ultrasonography will give only certain information. But fibroscan is important tool. So because of the non-availability of the fibroscan, the high cost of the fibroscan, we could not do this fibroscan for all the cases. So this is our limitation. If the fibroscan was also done in all these cases, we might have got a different result. So our limitation is the lack of availability of resources, lack of financial funding. So we could not able to do this. So that we have to admit, so that some person in future or some organization in future may use this as a key point and do the activity and do the research. So we have to acknowledge our weaknesses, our lacunas, our problems, our hindrances, or why we could not do it. Our idea may be there, but we could not do it because of so and so reason. So that limitations also we have to write in the discussion part. And further research, I have already told. So the further research, what is the future research scope? Whenever we are doing any research or writing any article, there should be a scope for future research. If there is no scope for future research, then is no point in doing this. Because future research is very, very important key aspect for any article. Suppose we have done some work and some person may continue this work because first cycle has come, after cycle scooter has come, after scooter auto rickshaw has come, car has come. Like that, based on the previous existing information or existing innovation, the next innovation starts. If cycle is not there, scooter will not come. Scooter is not there, motor vehicle will not come or a car will not come. So if you understand that the previous research, previous one is a key for the next future upcoming research. So for further research, we have to give the scope. What is the scope for further research? What can be done further in this area? Because we are the person who can tell that. Because we have done a lot of work in that area. So we are right persons to tell what can be done in future in this area. Because we are the expert in that field. We have done some research. We already got some information. And we are the right person to tell about the future research in that area. What are the practical implications? So out of this work, what exactly we achieved? what we really achieve. So we could conclude that this is the result. We could conclude this is important. We could conclude this is not useful. So as I have previously told, it is not that we should get a positive result. It is not that we may get a negative result also in our research. So what is the implication? What is the practical knowledge? What is the practical output? What we have gained after doing this research? What is the implication? What is the key takeaway? What we have got in the research work? So that is to be all written in the implications part. So the conclusion. So summarize the main findings. Summarize the main findings, reiterating the answer to each of your research question. So in conclusion, what we have to write? From the beginning till the end, what we have done exactly, how we did it exactly, and what are our findings, what is the discussion, and all these points should be written in the conclusion. So the conclusion part is a very important aspect of the writing of an article. Okay. So the conclusion part is very, very important. And we have to summarize. We have to keep a summary of all the main findings, what we have found in the research, and to the research question, we have to give the answer. Okay. Then references. So the references should be accurate, consistent citation, briefly mention styles like APA, Vancouver, MLA. So there are different writing styles. So every reference has a style of referencing. Means referencing style means what is the content in that, what is mentioned, the author name, the publisher name, the year of publication, the link available, where we can get this. So citation is referred in different styles. There are so many varieties of styles. And for some, if you can understand, there is an APA scale, APA style, Vancouver style, MLA style. So there are different varieties of referencing methodologies, referencing styles. So this is very important. Why? Because if at all somebody wants to refer it, they should be able to refer it. They should be able to get that article, what they want to read. If the referencing is not given clearly and the name of the author is not clear, the publisher is not clear, year of publication is not clear, or the pages or page numbers where we taken this reference is not clear, then the person who wants to refer back cannot get the reference. So referencing is a very key important aspect for the article. Acknowledgement. So acknowledgement is very important because whatever we are doing this work, we might have taken use or help of so many people or the organizations for doing this work. When we are taking some help, we have to acknowledge. It is our moral responsibility that we acknowledge them that so and so person has given this help, or so and so organization, or so and so university, or so and so college has given us this facility. They are given this facility to use the library. They are given the facility to do research, like that. Whatever is there, you have to acknowledge. So acknowledgement will give a good ethical option, so that the person also is given consideration into your article or research. So like this, when we are trying to do any article, write any article, the acknowledgement is very, very important. Next, we have completed writing the article. So after completing the article, we have to choose the journal. We have to choose a journal. So whenever we want to, because our article is ready and we want to publish it. So our next target is to choose the journal. Which journal? This is a very important question because researchers have a lot of confusion in choosing the journals. So We cannot just send our articles to any journal like that. First, we have to read the scope of the journal. Certain journals will deal with only certain articles. So there are so many journals which have some scope. Some only deal with homeopathy, some deal with complementary medicine, which includes Ayurveda, Unani, TCM, traditional Chinese medicine. So like that, there is a scope. Some only deal with the specific diseases, only diabetes journal, endocrinology journal, cancer journal. So in the scope, it should be there. Whatever article we are trying to write, there should be a scope for that. And what are the target audience and impact factor? So the impact factor is a very important aspect for any journal. So the higher the impact factor, the journal is a very good one. So when we are trying to choose any journal, first we have to see what is the scope of the journal, read the scope. If it fits into the scope, then only we have to submit the article. Otherwise, submission of article is very, very crucial, and we cannot submit our article same time to multiple journals, because one journal, one article should be sent to one journal. Once if it is rejected only, then you can send to the other journal. So you cannot just send your article to multiple journals at single time. So don't waste your time. So to make a correct judgment, first we have to read the scope, because the journal person will write a letter that it doesn't come under our scope, so we cannot publish your article. That will be taking maybe days to months together. So 8 months, 6 months, 12 months, they don't get any answer. So it becomes a very Herculean task to get your article published. So the scope of the article is very important. So don't send any articles to any journal without reading the scope. And what are our audience? And what is the impact factor of the journal? So high impact factor journals are very good and they are having good reputation. So impact factor gives the reputation of the journal. So you try to give to high impact factor journals and open access. So what is the difference between open access and closed access? Open access journals are open to all people. So your article is open. So your from the beginning to the end, the whole article is open to all the readers. That is called open access journal. And another journals is called closed access. Closed access means they have to pay subscription, they have to pay some amount to read the article, or the subscribers only have a chance to read the articles. So open access articles have more wider readership because it is open to all the public. So open access journals have more impact, more circulation, more readership. So whenever we are trying to choose a journal, first choose the scope, then the audience, then the impact factor, then the open access. So try to give option for more open access journals, and then if not possible, then for closed access. Okay. Then author guidelines. So author guidelines are specific to every journal. They are crucial for successful submission. So whenever we want to submit any article for any journal, we have to first read the journal author guidelines. So there are specific guidelines for authors, like the font, the referencing style, and for different articles, they are having different styles of writing the articles. So they are all mentioned in the author guidelines. And in the author guidelines only, they will give how to submit, when to submit, how much time it will take, time to approval. All these are clearly mentioned in all the journals. Reputed journals, they will mention how much time it will take for review, how much time it will publication. Like that, they will mention each and everything. We have to check for that, because when we are in a hurry, we may take, we may not be able to successfully complete the publication, because completion of publication is one of the key factors for a PhD or a thesis completion. So this PhD completion, you have to complete your journals in Q1, Q2 or Q3 or Q4 depending on your university recommendations. So unless and until your articles are published, you are not going to get your viva done and you are not going to get the PhD completed. So author guidelines, you have to be very clear. We have to reduce the time so that we should be able to learn the scope. We have to see the impact factor. So go for the open access and read the author guidelines very carefully and stick on to the author guidelines so that there will be no problem for approval. So covering letter. So we have to write a covering letter. Why we are writing this article, how we are doing this article, and whatever points we want to write. So we have to write a covering letter and then submit to the journal so that the journal will easily accept our article. And submission system. So there is a way, a process that is already clearly mentioned in the website of the journal. So please follow them so that you will not have any problem in publication. So peer review journey. So this is a very important point. So writing an article is one aspect and getting your article published is another difficult task. So writing article is a difficult task, no doubt at all. But even getting accepted by the publisher of the journal is very important. So there is a peer review process. The peer review journey. See, here we are submitting the article. Once the article is submitted, that is going for review. There is going for revision, then acceptance. If it is not accepted, again we have to submit. So this journey starts when we are submitting our article. First we submit the article, then it will go for the review. It will be double blind review or single blind review. In single blind review, the person will know who the author is, but we don't know who is reviewing an article. Double blind, both the author and the reviewer will not know each other. So peer reviewed journals are very important because they will review the article and see the content, see everything is fitting, then only they will accept it. If it is not accepted, what will happen? They will send again backwards. They will try to revise it. They will ask for resubmission. They will, if this is continuing, 3, 4, 5 times it is coming, reviewing, revision, reviewing, revision. So it will take a lot of time, even years together. So before submission itself, we have to check all these things that it should be completed very soon so that our format should be clear, author guidelines should be followed, and whatever the guidelines are given for writing the article in the journal, they should be strictly followed. And plagiarism is very important. Please don't do plagiarism. So copying is plagiarism. So to avoid plagiarism, we have to compulsorily give the referencing and don't use the same way pattern of writing the same content. You have to change it, give your idea, give your thoughts into the article so that plagiarism will be removed and you will get your original article. Okay, responding to reviews, address all the comments thoroughly and professionally. Suppose they are giving a review and they are telling you have to change this, you have to respond them very perfectly. You should be responding at quickly so that they will also review your articles and try to submit your article and so that it will be published as early as possible. So why this peer review journal policy is there? Because for quality control and constructive feedback. So quality control means whenever this journal, whatever we are writing is having a peer review, whenever it is reviewed, they will see the defects. They will rectify whatever is required. They will try to rectify the things so that it will have a good quality. It will have a good quality. So the quality outcome is very important. For that only the peer review is done. So peer review and peer reviewed journals have lot of high quality peer reviewed journals. So whenever they are writing in the journal first page they will write, it is an internationally peer-reviewed journal. It means that it is reviewed by people, then only it is published. It is not just writing an article and just directly they are publishing in their journal. It is reviewed. Peer reviewed means persons like you, means a same person of your caliber or a person who is experienced will review your article, and then it is called a peer reviewed article. And so the depending on the quality of the journal, there is a double blind, single blind, and multiple peer reviews also being done for high quality Q1 journals. So to reduce the time of publication, we have to be strict with the all the guidelines given by the journal, and we have to follow all these things. And so this is done for the purpose of quality. Okay, we are now we have almost completed the session. We have almost completed the session for this. And if anybody is having any doubt, they can ask so that we can clarify the questions and answers. Question and answer session. If anybody is having any doubt, they can ask questions or they can put in the chat box. Anybody is having any doubt or question regarding their journal reviews or how to write article or any questions? Yes. Anybody having any doubt? Yeah, so sorry, it is muted. Yes, you can unmute. You can unmute and talk. Sorry, it is muted. Yes. Are you able to hear me? Okay. Then we are proceeding further. We will send the link for the assessment. It will be shared in your groups so that you have to fill the question and answers and send it to us so that the assessment will be done. And at the end, we have the barcode. This barcode you can scan for the feedback, because the feedback is a very important aspect of any learning, so that we can understand your ideas, your thoughts, your requirements, so that we can do better work, we can do good things in future. So please scan the scanner and give your valuable inputs and feedback regarding this online training program. I thank once again the management of ASR Homeopathic Medical College and ALISHA'S Learning Institute for Scholarly and Homeopathic Advancement for this wonderful training program. And on behalf of the Medical Educational Technology Unit, METU, and the Research and Development Departments of ASR Homeopathic Medical College, I thank one and all for your patient hearing and understanding. And please give your feedbacks so that it will be helpful for the future activity. Thank you. Thank you one and all. Thank you very much.